My name is Matt Beausoleil, and although I'm not a classically trained chef, my passion for cooking and refined palate have earned me great respect in the culinary industry. Join me and many amazing people who call the Outaouais their home as we prep, cook, and bake at the beautiful Alpina Lodge located at the renowned Le Nordique Spa in Chelsea, Quebec. From community members to chefs, we will highlight the cultural diversity and incredible food scene that the Outaouais has to offer. I myself chose to call the Outaouais home, and it is because of the wonderful people that you will meet that we can truly enjoy our region. This is Cooking Adventures Outaouais. Hello and welcome to our kitchen. I'm very excited to share another recipe with you that will truly highlight the Outaouais' culinary and cultural diversity. Today's guests were the owners of Asian Alley located in the Byward Market in Ottawa, Ontario. They're also the owners of Pho Abbotsford in Abbotsford, BC. They are currently working on numerous projects, which includes an app for dine-in and takeout called upkū, as well as Fresh Made, a fresh rice noodle production right here in the Outaouais. Please join me in welcoming Hoang Do and Lisa Shen.
All right, Matt, thanks for that intro.
Thank you, Matt.
It's a pleasure to have you guys here. We've known each other for quite a while, and I'm so excited to share this amazing recipe with our fans here in the Outaouais. So, I mentioned some of the stuff during the introduction, but I'd love to know a little bit more about upkū.
upkū has been a project I've been working on for a while. It's a dine-in, takeout app with the goal of trying to make the restaurant experience a lot more convenient, removing all the unnecessary stuff and just keeping everyone focused on the experience.
So I think it's kind of cool is that you can go in the app, look at the restaurant's menu, order your food, show up at your assigned table that you've picked in the app, and then you sit down and your food can be delivered to your table, right? That's really cool, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. So you guys are definitely working on some different projects, such as Fresh Made. So how did that come to be?
Oh, Fresh Made was something that came out of the when I was bringing in a few dignitaries from Vietnam.
Right.
They made a commentary. It's like, why doesn't Ottawa have freshly made noodles? And like people who just get annoyed with complaining, I decided I'll do it instead.
Right. If there's a problem, solve the problem. Exactly, right? Which is kind of what upkū is doing as well.
And it was convenient that her mom also has been doing noodles for ages when she was in Vietnam and China. She's made these fresh noodles forever. So I'll leverage that, take her out of retirement.
Huh, beautiful. So I guess you're gonna have like a machine that makes these noodles?
Oh yeah, we sent the specs to China and had them produce a industrial size machine for us to produce these noodles to keep pace.
Very cool. So you'd like put the whole rice into it, or?
Yeah, we do it from whole grain rice.
Wow.
So it gives us a lot of options. We can do brown rice and even artisanal rice and other ingredients that's local as well.
Very cool, very cool. I think that's really important. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of Vietnamese restaurants showing up doing rice noodles, but they're all using the dried rice noodles because that's what we have access to, right?
Yeah, even when I had the restaurant, that's all I had, and I had to source a specific noodle.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was just a pain, but we mastered it. However, it doesn't need to be that complicated.
No, exactly. Well, that's great. I mean, solving problems seems to be what you guys are good at. So when we say, the Outaouais, and we always ask people, how did you end up here? How did you end up here in the Outaouais?
Well, initially I came here for university.
Right.
I originally started in Hamilton, the GTA area.
Right.
And we decided, you know what, Ottawa's and the Gatineau area is really nice. And I moved over to the Gatineau and I fell in love. So I've been here for almost over 20 years now.
Wow. Okay, so if you had to pick one or several things, what are some of the favorite things about the Outaouais region?
Well, the Outaouais has a lot of greeneries that's really gorgeous. We actually take advantage of that and to go mushroom picking, to just do hikes, just be outside and not worry about pollution. And also it's a nice close-knit community.
Right, and it's crazy because we're right beside our nation's capital, and we're so close to like the action, let's say. But we're living in kind of a beautiful space that's green, and we can go hike and trails, biking. It's such a great place for opportunities, right?
I live 5 to 6 minutes from Le Nordique, one of the best spas in the world.
Yeah.
And I feel blessed. Even when my family visit, first thing is like, we just go there, and they were surprised how the quality of the experience.
Right.
And just the parks and the access to big cities like Montreal is not too far away.
That's right. Well, we're happy to have you here at the Alpina Lodge, at the Nordique Spa, right here in Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think that's it for the questions. Let's start looking at today's dish and ingredients. All right, Lisa. So what are we going to be making today?
Shrimp Coconut Laksa.
Ah, okay. So laksa, where does that come from?
Laksa is a Indonesian mix.
Okay.
Indian, Singaporean, Hakka, Chinese.
So lots of influence.
Noodle. It's a street noodle from that area, from the Indonesian, Malaysian area.
Right, and it's a highly ranked dish as being one of the most flavorful dishes, I think, right?
Yeah, it's got quite the complexity, and it's just delicious.
Yeah, well, I've had the pleasure of tasting your laksa, so I know it's absolutely amazing. I mean, let's take a look at today's ingredients.
We'll start with the fresh shrimp.
Fresh shrimp, so I see that they're still shelled. There's shell on them, right?
Yeah, we'll be actually keeping the shell and making it into the broth.
Right, perfect. Right, with the shells add great flavor to our broth.
Yeah, and sweetens it a little bit.
Exactly. All right.
And ginger.
Right.
Fresh ginger. Garlic. Chili. Thai chili.
Right.
Galangal.
Galangal, what is that?
Galangal is a Vietnamese type of ginger.
Okay.
But not really. It's a completely different profile and flavor.
Okay.
But it is.
It's much firmer, right?
It's much firmer. It's got more stringent, stronger, sharper flavor.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool.
And shallot.
Yep.
And turmeric.
Turmeric. Okay.
Yeah, turmeric. I think everyone knows about turmeric by now. We prefer the fresh one over the powder. It's
Right.
got nicer, softer.
Turmeric root. Perfect. Okay.
And candle nut.
Another one, candle nut. So that's something that where could we get that around here?
Candle nut you can get from Manfat in Ottawa.
Okay.
It comes dry. Just be aware that candle nut, unless you cook it, is toxic.
Right.
So we soak it to make it softer.
Okay.
And then we make sure to cook it fully.
Okay. So if somebody didn't have access to this ingredient, or they,
Well, they can substitute it if allergy to nut. We don't know if it's it triggers any allergic responses. However, you can use almond milk, soy milk,
okay,
or macadamia.
perfect. Okay. All right.
Dry shrimp.
Cool.
And also coconut powder.
Mhm.
Coconut cream. Lemongrass.
All right.
Coriander powder. Salt. Pepper. Cane sugar. Plum sugar. And MSG.
So Lisa, I'm gonna do the roots, I guess, and then we'll go from there. You're gonna take care of the shrimp.
Shrimp and tofu.
Shrimp and tofu. All right. Let's get prepping.
Yeah.
Cutting the shrimp.
All right. So Lisa, now we've got the shrimps. We've taken the shells off. Now we're going to season marinate.
Yes.
All right. Perfect.
We'll put some salad,
Some shallots.
some garlic.
Garlic.
Half teaspoon is good enough.
All right. Perfect. All right, so now it's time to blend the ingredients. So what are we gonna blend?
Put all the ingredients to blend.
All right, so what do we have?
Salad,
Shallots,
garlic,
garlic.
galangal,
Perfect.
turmeric,
Yep.
dry shrimp,
Dry shrimp.
lemongrass,
So, I mean, this is probably the best part of this. We get to put the laksa into this bowl and then we get to taste it. I'm really excited. So, Lisa, work your magic.
let's do it.
All right.
Actually, yeah, this is the same type of noodle we'll be making. I have the mold and the
Right.
setup for this one.
Awesome. All right.
That's
So we
awesome.
put our rice noodles, some green onions,
Some shrimp.
some beautiful sautéed shrimp. They smell delicious. Oh man. The best
Some
part is that I get to
coriander.
try it first.
Excuse me?
Sorry. It's just part of the
Coriander.
job. Some
Okay.
bean sprouts.
Some bean sprout.
I'm just gonna try more than you.
For me.
All right.
And let's pour
And now
the
the broth.
broth. There you go. Time out.
Wow. Oh man, the coconut is obviously very present. The turmeric. Are you jealous? Try a little bit.
Enjoy.
Tofu. Thank you.
Maximum of effort, maximum flavor.
Great level of spice. You know, there's so many things going on, like all the different roots that we added, but they're all there, and you can get the ginger and the turmeric, and you know, it's incredible. The shrimp. Perfectly cooked shrimp, sauteed, absolutely amazing. Hoang and Lisa, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to join me again today in the kitchen. It's always a pleasure to chat, talk food, and obviously make some amazing food. So thank you for joining me, and looking forward to our next get-together.
Yeah, for sure.
You're welcome.
Once again, a very special thank you to Hoang Do and Lisa Shen for making this amazing shrimp and coconut laksa. Don't forget that this recipe, as well as all of the recipes featured in this program, will be made available in the Cooking Adventures Outaouais cookbook, brought to you by the Regional Association of West Quebecers. On that, be happy, be healthy, and eat well. Ciao for now. Hello and welcome to our kitchen. I'm very excited to share another recipe with you that will truly highlight the Outaouais' culinary and cultural diversity. Today's guest is the chef and owner of the Village House in Wakefield, a well-known restaurant that offers casual fine dining with a focus on farm to table. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Mike Houle.
Well, thanks, Matt, for having me. I appreciate it. Really excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. You know, you're born and raised in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. I'm from Sudbury, Ontario originally. We're northern boys, right? We've had lots of influences from different cultural cuisine. French, Canadian, English, but you know, lots of Italian. There's lots of Italian up there, especially in the Sioux.
Definitely.
So how do you think being exposed to those from a young age helped kind of shape your culinary style?
Well, I think it's definitely influenced on what we do at the Village House. It's kind of that, you know, farm to table, French Canadian, you know, in English, I think, you know, everything boils down to sort of slow cooked or,
Right.
you know, even meat and potatoes.
Right.
But then that's where the Italian influence, I think, from the Sioux comes in. I have to find a way to put some sort of fresh pasta, a gnocchi, you know, things like we'll see later on, a polenta. Has to be, you know, definitely has to be on the menu. And,
Meat and starch.
Exactly, you can't
What
go
can be
wrong.
better than that, right?
And get that bread afterwards and dip that in.
Yeah,
and
oh,
soak
God.
up the sauce.
Okay, you got to stop this. This is too much. So you came to Ottawa. You landed here in Ottawa from the
Yes.
Sioux. You had the opportunity to work at Murray Street Kitchen.
Yes.
Which was a very farm to table focused restaurant. Did
Definitely.
lots of really cool things. What do you think you've taken away from that experience, and what has that helped shape in your life from farm to table perspective?
Well, definitely, Murray Street was amazing place and to work for and to learn. Really, I was still kind of young in my career. I didn't really start professionally cooking, we'll call it, until I was 25 when I went back to school. And it really just inspired me what they're doing. It reminded me a lot of kind of what we grew up with, making, like I said, making, the late summer and the fresh tomato sauces and pastas, and just my dad and, my uncles and grandparents being very avid hunters and fishermen. So it was a lot about butchery and using every part of those animals. So it really, what they were doing at Murray Street, really it was sort of just sang to me,
it was
taught me.
reminiscent of our
Exactly. This is
upbringing,
what
right?
and with Chef Steve Minton, amazing. His twists on the concepts of simple, classic dishes is really, what inspired me, and it's definite influence on what I do still at the Village House today, for sure.
So if you had to pick one thing, let's say, one thing that you love about the Outaouais, what would it be?
Ooh, I don't know if I could pick one thing.
Okay, you can name a couple.
Okay, I love to snowboard, so there's tons of ski hills around in the winter. I just love that there's always, there's always something to do. You can get outside or your proximity to a major city, so you have the best of everything.
Exactly.
And then when it comes to food, I think we're so diverse in our farms, and whether it be vegetable producers, artisanal cheese makers, everything. So
Perfect.
yeah. Today I'm going to do a nice simple braised Québec Rabbit Leg over creamy Avonlea Cheddar Polenta.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about today's ingredients.
All right, so I have the rabbit leg all ready to get ready to sear. And I had this brined ahead of time. So brining is just another way, kind of like curing.
That's right.
It's just a ratio of salt, sugar to water, and whatever kind of spices you want into it.
How long did it brine for?
This brined for 3 days.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So and it just helps impart flavor, keeps it juicy on a leaner, or and help break down tougher cuts of meat also. And then for veg, I have I try to stay as local as I can. Fortunately, in Wakefield, we have a lot of local farmers close. So I have some beautiful rutabaga, baby rainbow carrots, Brussels sprouts from Juniper Farms. I have winter mushrooms from Le Coprin mushroom, which is just
mushrooms.
Yeah. So they're really, you'll find out they're really, you almost don't really want to cook them. You add them in last minute. They're super mushroomy and fresh tasting.
Cool.
Yeah, surprising for a small mushroom, the amount of flavor that they pack is.
I don't think it's a mushroom that I've ever eaten, so I'm really stoked.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I love
and
mushrooms.
they're great for finishing, putting in salads, dressing last minute. So,
Very cool.
and you'll see at the end. And I have some house smoked bacon that we're going to saute up as well.
Can't go wrong with bacon,
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
when it's house bacon.
Yeah, there you go. And for the polenta, we're going to do a nice simple creamy polenta, 4-to-1 ratio. And then we're going to finish it with this beautiful Avonlea cheddar from PEI. It's cloth bound, so on the nose it has a beautiful musty aroma, and it's not like a blue cheese where that the blue really sticks to your palate. It just keeps on lingering in your nasal, so it's nutty and sweet and buttery. It just has a beautiful musty that goes beautiful with, especially with root veg and pork. So
it holds up perfectly to root veg. And it's going to be an amazing polenta. I'm super stoked. I also haven't had polenta in a while.
All right, right on. Well, hopefully I don't fail you.
I'm sure we'll be good.
Yeah. is. So what we're gonna do is when we're ready, I'm just gonna crank up the pan.
Right.
And we're gonna start by searing oil and salt and pepper our rabbit legs.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get the pan smoking hot. The secret to a good braise or a good sear is
Right.
obviously heat. And really getting a good little sear to lock in all the juices on that protein. So I'll sear quickly the rabbit, and then we'll
Right.
take it back out,
Right.
and then I'll throw in the bacon, we'll throw in the celery, onions, get nice color on that, and then for about 2 minutes.
Right.
And then we'll throw in the fresh garlic, some fresh thyme, our root vegetables, other than the mushrooms and Brussels.
Right.
And then we'll hit it with a little bit of red wine.
Perfect.
And let that reduce down, and then we'll finish it with some beautiful chicken stock.
Awesome. So I mean, we had a 3-day brine and then a 1-hour braise.
Yeah.
So when you're searing in a pan, it's really important that we have that pan nice and hot, right?
Yes,
From
definitely.
the beginning.
Yes.
And will you use oil as well?
Yeah, I'll use oil, and what I use is extra virgin canola oil. So it's an Ontario company called Pristine Gourmet.
That's right, yeah.
So wonderful. I love the product. And again, it's supporting a Canadian company, and I use a lot of their product, their legumes at the restaurant as well, chickpeas, dry beans, soybeans, stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah. So I'm gonna take my rabbit. I have my braising pan nice and hot.
Right.
The secret to a good braise is you need that pan hot. Otherwise, you're just gonna cool the pan down and kind of start
Exactly.
stewing in all the moisture. You really want caramelization on this protein. So I'm just gonna take some beautiful extra virgin canola oil.
Nice. Beautiful product.
Yeah, beautiful Pristine Gourmet Ontario company.
Absolutely.
They're amazing. So just nice generous salt and pepper. I'm just gonna roll it around.
Perfect.
And we're gonna adjust the seasoning after. So, and because it was in a brine, I don't have to over
Right.
season it at this
Right.
point. So I'm just gonna take a bit more, and you can see the pan smoking right away. And are just gonna start braising.
All right. Next step, polenta.
Yes, so we're gonna do creamy style polenta today.
Right.
And so it's our ratio, it's 4-to-1
Okay.
is what I find works best. So we're gonna do 4 parts water in this
Yeah.
case to a cup of polenta. So what you wanna do is make sure you get your water boiling, and I have a little pinch of salt in here.
Okay.
And while the water is boiling, I'm gonna drizzle, slowly pour in while I'm whisking to prevent any lumps. And as soon as I have it incorporated, I'm gonna turn the heat down nice and low, and we're just gonna kind of continue stirring for about 5-6 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're gonna finish with some beautiful unsalted butter and the Avonlea cheddar. All right.
All right, let's do it. Let's do this.
All right, so I'll just pull out the braise out of the oven here, and we'll put it right up here.
Awesome.
Pop the
Whoa, look
off
at
there.
that.
And now at this point, this is the benefit about just doing the Brussels leaves, because you can just throw them in,
Huh.
and they're just gonna stay beautiful and green.
Right.
Same thing with the mushrooms, because we don't really want to cook and lose any of that beautiful, you'll see
Yeah.
like mushroom flavor. Stir.
Beautiful. The leaves, yeah, will retain
Yeah,
their shape and
exactly.
their flavor and their color, right?
And you know, it's also a textural thing too, because they're going to stay a little slightly crunchy.
Right.
You know, because you have the root
Wow.
veg that's been in there, and then
That smells amazing.
a little bit of fresh parsley, just to finish. And
This is very difficult to not try it right now.
I think we're ready to the plate.
All right.
So, all that do, we're going to just put some beautiful polenta down here.
Nice soft polenta, 4-to-1 ratio.
And
In your store, you can buy some yellow cornmeal, some polenta.
And then we'll just start kind of, you know, think of it, you know, essentially it's like a stew.
That's right.
Right? So we're
Oh my
just going to
God, it smells so
put
good.
this, oh, beautiful over top.
Look how tender the rabbit looks, right? I can only imagine how tender it'll be.
So we just
So good.
make sure we got one.
Doing polenta is probably one of my favorite kind of Italian dishes, you know? This is-
Oh, totally. And it's, you know, it's like wintry and just,
man.
you know, it's all about the comfort. And,
exactly.
you know, for me, it's, you know, comfort and familiarity.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like growing up, just eating a lot of braised meats, and then I like putting a little bit more. You can never have too much polenta.
No, especially that loose polenta with the Avonlea cheddar. Ooh.
And there you go, guys. That's the Braised Québec Rabbit.
And we'll serve that with some focaccia.
Yeah, some homemade focaccia. So I make it daily at the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. I figure, you know, my grandpa Roy, his favorite dessert at the end of every meal, didn't matter if there was apple pie or whatnot, he always used to have pretty much anything we ate had to have some sort of sauce or gravy.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was butter bread and some gravy over top. That was Grandpa Roy's dessert. So I just feel it fitting to always have some fresh bread.
Absolutely.
You know, you're going to want to dip that sauce.
Perfect. I mean, it's time to try it. Let's do this.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go.
All right, dig in. Enjoy.
Oh, wow. The rabbit is nice and tender, juicy. That braise. Wow. The brine. You can definitely tell it was brined before it was cooked in the braise. Delicious. Let's try it. You know, the Brussels sprout leaves is not something that I've seen very much, maybe a couple times, but it's really nice, right? It does add that texture.
Yeah.
That's great. Now the polenta. That cheddar.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That makes that polenta just over the top. Gotta try the focaccia bread. Just tear a little chunk off there and dip it in the gravy. Focaccia bread. Light, airy, greasy, deliciousness. Get it all over your hands. Mike, thank you so much. You know, it's not every day that we think of eating rabbit at home, right? And like it's not always available in the grocery store. But I think it's really good that we publish a recipe like this. It really features so many local ingredients, really highlights farm to table. And I think that all those things are so important to you. And it's so important to most of us, right? Local, supporting local, farm to table really is a movement that we should support. And it's just absolutely stunning. So thanks again for joining me. Thanks for sharing the recipe. It's been a blast.
Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Once again, a very special thanks to Mike Houle of the Village House in Wakefield for this amazing rabbit dish. It was exceptional. Don't forget that this recipe, as well as all the recipes featured in this program, will be made available in the Cooking Adventures Outaouais Cookbook, brought to you by the Regional Association of West Quebecers. On that, be happy, be healthy, and eat well. Ciao for now.